So before you guys get into this, if you're just here to see the progressive overload stuff, then skip about 10 minutes in, like 9.5 to 10 minutes. I went on a bit of a rant earlier about some bodybuilding, modern stuff and old stuff and whatever, about some guy that got mad at me before. So if you're not interested in that, just skip about 10 minutes into the video and then you can get into the progressive overload training and that crap. So I made a video over a month ago called 2 exercises to get you from stick to thick. And there was a dude, I don't remember his username or anything, but he had a problem with the fact that I put cleans and shoulder presses as those exercises for your upper body. And he threw a big fit in the comments and whatever. And after a while, he just was arguing for the purpose of arguing, didn't even have any evidence or reason or anything like that. So he was clearly just upset and mad and didn't know what to say. But one of his things was that a clean builds no muscle because it's not a hypertrophy, because you don't feel the squeeze in the stretch or something like that. And he was a huge Dr. Mike fan. He said he was a fan himself, and I can only assume he's a huge Dr. Mike fan because that's all that Dr. Mike talks about. But I actually went and, just for fun, was looking to see if bodybuilders do these exercises, like professional bodybuilders. One, I want to put out there, Dr. Mike never made it to professional bodybuilding. He coaches a lot of people. He coaches athletes and all kinds of people and everything like that. And I'm not saying by anything that he's I don't even know how to put this, but I'm not trying to hate on him or anything. Big dude. He did by the way, for that guy's information, that Dr. Mike did a very strong overhead press, 275 for 5. So if you're upset about that, you know, he's got some pretty decent shoulders, I'd say. But that's how he used to train. He used to do heavy weight training. He switched to his new method. Never went pro. The reason being, I never watched the video, but I read some stuff about it. He said it was for his health, which I can believe, because as a trainer, as an athletic trainer, Dr. Mike himself knows the negatives of steroids, and also I would never condone taking steroids, so hopefully he stops doing that for his health. But I think another big reason was that he never went pro. He failed a few times, I think. Not 100% sure. I never really looked into it, but I know he failed more than once from what I've heard. But then you go, and I found in Arnold's book of bodybuilding, Arnold's Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, not book of bodybuilding, his Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, he has deadlifts, cleans, overhead press, squat, barbell rows, all these compound lifts, and they're the main portion of the exercise. And so I went and watched a bunch of videos of him training to see if he actually sticks by that. And that's what he does for the most part. He does add machines in there, but he said in interviews that if you do not do the fundamental basic lifts, you won't get thick and full, or I think he said thick. Specifically, you won't fill out. And he said that some of these lifts that you do can never be replaced by machines.
And then the important thing is that you train the proper way, which is to train the basics. That if it is the squats, if the 2-arm curl, if it's the bent over rowing, if it's the clean and the press, the bench press, the incline press, the dumbbell press, all of those basic exercises. And that's what you need to do, especially the last 3 months before competition. You got to shock the muscle, and shock the muscle with different kind of training principles. But they can apply the same principles. One thing I can tell you, there's major mistakes that are being made today in bodybuilding by not covering those basic exercises, because today when I go into gymnasium, I don't see anymore the kids learning about the cleaning and pressing, or to do the 2-arm snatch and to do the upright rowing from the floor up, and all of those kind of exercises that are so important to create the traps and to create the lower back. Those are the kind of exercises to me that were like, you could not replace them with any machine. This was it. One of the main things, of course, in order to create size, and to create muscle growth, which will sometimes the body will hit a wall. And what that basically barbell curl. Many times we would start out with a heavy weight, and do just 1 rep. Then have them pull off plates and a curl, but just enough that they can now do 2 reps. Then pull off plates and do 3 reps. Then pull off more plates and do 4 reps after that. And so this is how it would go up until, without ever putting the bar down.
Which is, you know, the stretch and the squeeze and all that. And Arnold was like a 7-time Mr. Universe, at least a 7-time Mr. Olympia, and all these other random shows that he did. And for a lot of people, Arnold is the best bodybuilder there is. Now, I don't really like bodybuilding as a sport all that much because it's generally just unhealthy. When you get into the like steroids and everything like that, that's terrible for you. But the natural bodybuilding shows, I don't care. You know, go all the power to you, man. If that's what kind of stuff you like, as long as you're doing your conditioning and keeping your heart healthy as well, because you still got to pump blood through all your muscles and everything. And I'm not saying I don't want to get big. I hope to be a mass monster one day, or as big as I can naturally get. But Arnold himself, one of the best bodybuilders, probably the best bodybuilder of his time, and honestly, compared to some of the physiques of today, he'd still probably be really good, if not still the best. He recommends that you stick to the fundamentals, and I'll take some clips from some of his interviews. I don't think I can put stuff from his book in here because I don't know what's copyrighted and what's not, but the interviews are public on all kinds of platforms. You don't have to pay for them, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that that's okay. If I get copyright striked, that's fine. I don't make any money anyway. I'm just on here to talk a lot and show you guys some stuff and help out when I can. But I just wanted to say, you know, to whatever that guy was, I don't even know what I wanted to say. I just wanted to tell you that there are bodybuilders who are better than Dr. Mike that condone that. Obviously, Arnold had to be an intelligent man. He was the governor of California, right? I think, something like that. Or at least a political figure. He was better than Dr. Mike, in my opinion, better physique. And Arnold also said that he thinks that machines being used in the gym is a reason why nobody gets the thickness that the older bodybuilders had. Even, you know, people on steroids aren't as big as the guys back in the day and don't look as good. And I even believe that to be true. That people nowadays, like bodybuilders, don't look as good as the guys from back in the day. Because everybody nowadays wants to just use the machines because they're so much easier and you can feel the stretch and the squeeze. And he talked about, for like curls and everything, doing like heavy singles and then taking some weight off and doing more reps and stuff like that, because that would help grow. So people who talk about, oh, you're not going to get anywhere unless you do the hypertrophy rep range, which the hypertrophy rep range, if you're going based off like motor unit recruitment and your muscle fibers, like your fast twitch and slow twitch muscle fibers, then the recommended rep range is, I think, 8 to 12 or 6. I think it's 6 to 12 with like a 2 to 3 minute break in between sets. And once you go above that, it's supposed to be the muscular endurance rep range. That's what the science says. Anyway, and the dude that was arguing with me had no formal schooling for the subject or done any of his own personal research. He was just some upset teenager because I train in a way he doesn't like. I told him a bunch of times he can train however he wants. He didn't seem to care. He didn't like that. He got real upset and everything. But anyway, that's just a almost 10-minute rant that I'm sure you guys can skip through if you want. I don't really care. Don't really get a lot of viewers anyway. But I'm also going to be showing you guys today how you can use progressive overload to your advantage for strength, muscular endurance, and also hypertrophy. So we'll get right into that. I'm going to set up for it, and then I'll see you guys then. So for the strength training, I'm going to try to explain this as best as I possibly can. I'm not good at explaining stuff, so I'll just do, I'll do my best here. But this is how I do progressive overload for strength. I warm up to a working set, so I do sets of 5 usually. First set is usually 10 reps just to get myself warm after I do my other warm-ups and stretching. You should always do some warm-up and stretching before you lift, and after you lift, it's good to stretch as well. But then I will do sets of 5 until I hit a set that feels heavy enough for it to be my working set. That was 315. I got chicken bacon ranch legs, so I'm not that strong, leave me alone. And then I will do 3 sets of 5 to 8 reps. I only did 5 for all my sets today because that's just what I felt like doing. I didn't attempt to go for the 8 because I wanted to get myself used to doing the 3 sets of 5 first, because I haven't done that in a while. So I do 3 sets of 5 to 8 reps, and if I hit my goal of 8 reps for all 3 sets, then the next week I will increase the weight by 5 to 10 pounds and do the same thing. Now, next week, say I work up in my, my sets of 5, warming up to my working set, and I get to 315 and I do it for 5, and I jump up to 320 or 325, and I do that, and my first set I get it for 5, but it was hard, and then my second set I get it for 4. That means I have to decrease the weight and restart my working sets. So I would basically either drop down to, if I went to 325, drop down to 320 and do 3 sets of 5 with that, or drop down to 315 and do another 3 sets of 5 to 8. And that's how I do progressive overload for strength training. If that doesn't make any sense, feel free to ask questions in the comments, and I will try my best to help you understand a little better. I know I'm not great at explaining things. That's why I like one-on-one personal training a lot better than group stuff. But anyway, for the muscular endurance personal training, for the muscular endurance progressive overload, I didn't do it for this workout, but you can, after you do your 3 sets of 5 to 8, whatever your working weight was for those sets, drop it down to about anywhere from like 50 to 60% of what that weight was, and then go for 12 to 20 reps, which is the scientific rep range for muscular endurance. And then do another 3 sets, and you can start with like a minute rest time, and then for each set decrease that rest time by 10 to 15 seconds, and go for all 20 reps for each set, or just get as many as you can, but stop at 20. And just as you continue to do that, decrease the rest time. And as your strength increases with the progressive overload on the strength, the weight you use for that should also increase, so you should only have to worry about reducing the rest times